So this week we are getting into creating different types of lists. So we're going to do bulleted lists and ordered lists and unordered lists. And then you'll also learn how to do tables. And we will be working with graphical tables, but you'll also learn how to create some pre-formatted tables. And the CSS that we are going to be covering deals with borders, and borders are quite often used with lists and tables. So the web-based readings kind of focus on those topics that we are covering this week. So these are the different tags associated with tables and lists. And then we get into styling for tables and lists. Okay, and we will also be covering how to do a news column. Let's get all the way back here. Okay, then the lecture demo takes you through creating the different types of lists, and there's plenty of examples. And then it also gets into the graphical tables. So we go through lists first, and then the different CSS that you can use with those lists. And then we get into the CSS borders, because borders are typically used with tables and lists. And then we get into how to create graphical tables. And then at the bottom, we get into news columns. Once you finish the readings and the lecture demo, you are ready for the textbook assignment. And like the other textbook assignments, this one is going to be more directive. There are 3 HTML pages you're going to download, and then there is graphics you'll download to your media folder and a CSS file that you will be downloading to your CSS folder. Okay. And then you are going to take that recipe and convert it into all sorts of different types of lists. Okay. And so this is showing you what your HTML is going to look like once you are done converting it. And then you will be updating the external style sheet for the recipe. Okay, so this goes through the CSS that you will be adding for that. Then at the top, we have a little section for prep time, cook time, and total time that we will be moving into a little table. Okay, and this shows you what the table will look like. Okay, and then you will be done with the recipe. You'll move on to the Hitchcock page, and you'll be adding a table to that. And then you will be merging some of the rows and columns to make it look better. And to merge, we use row span and col span. And those are both explained in the lecture demo. You'll also be adding some styling to an internal style sheet that is at the top of that page. Okay, and this is all the col span and row span information. And then finally, you're going to take one of the files, the last one, breaking news, and you're going to add CSS to create news columns. Okay, so not a lot of CSS is required to get kind of a cool effect. Okay, so that is the textbook assignment. And once you transfer that, you're going to submit done to the Dropbox and move on to the lab assignment. And the lab assignment this week, you are going to get to pick whatever you want to do your page on. So I've got some minimal requirements listed, and I have an example. I took those minimal requirements and made them into a fake resume, but you can take those requirements and make them into anything you want. And you should make sure you style the page. So obviously, I did quite a bit of styling to this. So you do need to make your page look good. And so I've got some styling requirements, and this is an external style sheet. So, if you wanted to take a look at exactly what I did, we go to view page source, I did the internal one here just so you could see it easier, but you guys will do an external one. And then you can see I put the address stuff in a table so I could line that up better. That met the table requirement. And then you can see that I have the different types of lists in here. Then part two, you will create a page that uses news columns. And it is perfectly okay to, cite a source. You'll notice in my example, I used the poem The Raven, which obviously I did not write. So I had to cite this source. So the citation is down here. And I put the raven in the background of the page. And then I just simply added the news columns. So if you want to see how I did that, you can view page source. You can kind of take a look. Not a whole lot of CSS for this. And then you are going to update your assignment page with links. And now that we've learned about our lists, you are going to convert every assignment little section into a bulleted list. So in VS Code, you can do a replace command and you can tell it to look for a P tag. Okay, and I would just do a P and an angle bracket because that'll get the opening and closing. And then if you replace it with the LI and the angle bracket, then all of the paragraphs would be replaced with the LI tags. And all you have to do is go above the first one and add an opening OL or UL, excuse me, and go below the last one and add a closing UL. And you'll have to do that for each one of these lists. Okay, so this is what it should look like. But if you do that replace command, these LI tags will be put in for you, and it's just a matter of adding, an opening UL, and you can literally copy and paste that, and then add your closing UL, which you can also copy and paste. Right, so that is the lab assignment. Okay, once you are done with that, you have it transferred, you'll submit done to the Dropbox. And actually, we'll submit it to this Dropbox. And then this discussion is optional. Under resources, I do have some VS Code extensions. And extensions are just kind of neat little features that you can add to VS Code. The color features are really nice. Most people change the themes. And this video has 5 Visual Studio Code extensions that people really like. So you might want to take a look at that video. And if you have found extensions that you really like, please share them with the class. Just post to the discussion. Okay, so this takes you to the VS Code Marketplace. Okay, and so lots and lots of extensions out there for you. If you have questions or you run into problems this week, please let me know and have an awesome week.